If you are dealing with these signs at work, just know that it's time to go. It might not be time to go right now, but it's time to go. Feeling as if you can't breathe without having to ask permission. You know how some of our parents used to say, everybody ain't your friend? You ever heard that before? I want some of you to realize that your coworkers ain't your friends. I know other YouTubers will be like, oh, just quit, girl. And then what? Then what? Where can I live with you? So I just recorded an entire story time video and I didn't realize that my microphone was off. So now the entire hour footage where I was just talking, you know, there's no audio on that hour long story that I was telling. So anyway, hi guys. I've been running my mouth all day recording videos. So I just wanted to come back with another one. And this time it's about signs that you are working in a very toxic, not demure, not pretty job, and that you need to go for something else in 2025. So as some of you know, I started working for myself in 2024 and it's been the best thing that has ever, I'm not gonna say ever, that's a reach, but it's been the best thing that has happened to me in a very long time. I just wanted to create a video about some telltale signs that you need to leave your toxic workplace and go to somewhere better. Now, it doesn't have to be working for yourself, but it could just be going somewhere other than where you at. Maybe where you're at is not the best. I know when you're in these situations where you're in a job that's not good for you, you are probably being gaslighted to hell and back right now about it. You're probably feeling some ways about it and you can't really vocalize it or you can't say it to anybody because they make you feel crazy. Girl, boy, I've been there. So I'm going to lay out some of these issues that you may find yourself in and we're gonna talk through it together because girl, boy, you're not crazy. First of all, probably the number one thing when you're dealing with a toxic job or a toxic boss is that you are being micromanaged right now. In that other video that I was going to make where I was speaking for an hour and I realized that my microphone wasn't on, so you guys aren't going to hear that unless I re-record it. In that video, I was telling you guys about a time where I worked at a job and I was micromanaged in a way that I have never been micromanaged before. I'm talking about this man wanted to sit on meetings with me for basically half of my shift, while at the same time wanting me to complete 30 different things in my entire shift. Sir, how am I gonna do that when you are right? This is me. How am I gonna do that when I'm right here and you're right here, just in my ear? How can I focus? How can I focus on anything? So you're doing your job. You're following the script, right? You're following the templates that you have to use. You're following directions, and you know you are, and you've been doing it for a while. And let's say all of a sudden your boss wants to nitpick with you about certain things that you've been doing, or he wants to see sudden changes, and he's constantly on your ass. Feeling as if you can't breathe without having to ask permission. You can't get up. You can't go get some water without somebody looking over the cube to see what you're doing. Like, that's not normal. You know, it's not a way to function, to be so heavily surveillanced all the time, which leads to our next point. So if you are in a hostile work environment, it makes you feel anxious, right? And depressed. I know I have clinically diagnosed anxiety. So when I feel as if I am being put in a box, or if someone is constantly watching me, or if I'm constantly having to walk on eggshells within my work, I get anxious, you know? And if you're being micromanaged, kind of the same thing. You have such anxiety that you're going to do something wrong. You're going to say something wrong. That's not an environment that you want to work in. That's not it. If you feel this way, I know it's not just affecting your job either. Like your work life. It doesn't just stop there. You also go home. If you're in office, you go home, or if you're remote, you turn off the computer and you still feel that way. You still feel kind of that heat, and that maybe that embarrassment, your heart pounding after what you just had to endure, after being micromanaged or nitpicked and belittled. Like, that still follows you even when your shift is done for the day. To where I know with me, sometimes when I just had such an intense day, or working under such an intense boss or whatever, even when I'm not working, it takes a while for your body to calm down. Imagine feeling that way. Imagine a job feeling that way. You log off. Okay, now it's you time. It's time for you to be with your family and your friends or with yourself or whatever. And you can't even really do that mentally because your mind is still feeling as if you just had to go through World War III. It's your job. You got to log off and have to pretend maybe sometimes with your family and your friends that you didn't just have to do that. That's not a mental state to be in. And that's not a way to do your job either. If you're feeling anxious and depressed and you're feeling as if you have to walk on eggshells, even when you clock back in the next day, you so tense, you so jittery that you're probably not even able to really focus on doing the best that you can at your job or being confident in what you're doing. You're on the defensive mode. You're more so focused on making sure you don't step on your boss's toes. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about your work anymore. It's about playing that game with your boss or your coworkers to make sure that you're not on a hit list for whatever reason. And that's not it. I'm telling y'all, that's not it. So another sign that you probably need to get up out of there soon is that you are suddenly getting a heavy workload. So maybe there was a point in time where, you had certain things that you focused on, certain things you were in charge of. You were just good doing that. What you were in charge of is enough. Low key, it's already too much. Low key, you already kind of doing too much, but you handling it. You used to it. Now, let's say all of a sudden you getting more stuff thrown at you now. Boss says, hey, I got about 5 different things that I need you specifically to do. No, can't nobody else do it. I want you to do it, and I want you to do it by this deadline. Oh, can I get assistance? No, is it just you? And then there's this expectation that you have to do it. There's really no talking about it. And at this point, maybe you're already dealing again with being micromanaged. Maybe your manager is already on you about your job already. You're already kind of feeling this tenseness already. It's something is not right anyway. Now they're throwing extra stuff at you. Maybe you feel right now that you have to do that in order to keep the peace. You don't really want to do it. I said maybe you're already barely holding on with what you already have. But then there's this kind of friction to where, oh, if I don't do this, then ... And of course, I'm sure that's not making you feel the best right now. And you're kind of being coerced. I always have a hard problem with this. How am I a writer and I have a hard problem with this word? Coerced into doing more, because if you don't, then there's just this feeling of dread, right? If I say something, the block is already hot. Tempers are already high. My boss already seems like he or she got an issue with me. If I don't take on this extra project, then that's all they need. And then, we need our jobs. A lot of times when we're feeling overworked, we're feeling stressed, we're feeling as if we're barely keeping up with the work we already have. Sometimes we take even more abuse. We take even more work because we need to. Oh, if we get fired today, if we get let go or reprimanded today, who's gonna pay these bills? Okay, so then the opposite of this, right? Let's say in one situation, you get a heavy workload out of nowhere. Do all this extra work and heavy lifting like you somebody's Superman or something. So the opposite of that is that you're getting less work now. Even to the point where, let's say there's meetings sometimes that happen with your department or with certain people. And then all of a sudden they say, well, you don't need to come. Or all of a sudden you notice that they're having extra meetings where you're not involved, right? So all of a sudden your role in this particular project or meeting, whatever, you're getting pushed to the side. Or you have a certain set of tasks that you normally do, and all of a sudden your superiors come to you and they say, we don't really need you to do this anymore. We're allocating this to somebody else and you can just focus on a smaller piece of work for you. And then at this point, you're probably thinking, well, the stuff that I have, that's not going to take all day. If you take this away from me, I have a whole bunch of free time sitting here. Is there anything else you want me to do? And then you ask questions and then your manager say, well, no, you can just deal with this for now. We're kind of shuffling things around and figuring out a new structure for the team. It can be the fact that they're slowly fizzling out your position, or they're slowly trying to get other people to do what you do. Having less to do is also a sure tell sign that something is not quite right. It's kind of a red flag, girl. I mean, yeah, sometimes we want to have less work, but not like that less. You were involved in this big project and they say that you don't have to be anymore, or having meetings without you specifically, girl. I'm just saying. You know how some of our parents used to say, everybody ain't your friend? You ever heard that before? I want some of you to realize that your coworkers ain't your friends. Your coworkers ain't your friends. It comes to you feeling possibly insecure in your job position right now, can sometimes lead back to the coworkers who you've been kikiing with and telling your business with too much. So it's in the name, coworker, not co-friend, but coworker. We do work stuff together. And I think some of y'all need to realize that. Like, at the end of the day, this is a place of employment. This is a place where people get money. And when money is involved, sometimes people can act a little funny. And when money is involved, people are going to protect their assets and themselves at the end of the day. Sometimes if it means to stay on a manager's good side or something, it's true. Some of y'all be talking to y'all coworkers too much. I'm sorry. When it comes to my job with me, I have made good friends from my jobs, but like maybe one or two to this day. I don't play about that. You can tell a coworker something in confidentiality, right? Between y'all, that maybe you're going through something at home, right? Maybe you're going through something at home to where it's affecting your performance at work. And you say this around somebody who does not have your best interest at heart. You say this around somebody who maybe you're working on a project that they want to work on, you know, and they've never liked the fact that you're working on that project and they're not. So maybe they overheard that. They go back to the manager and say, hey, well, you know, I heard such and such is going through some stuff at home. Maybe she's too distracted, or maybe she's not able to really focus on the project. You know, they're getting into the manager's ear. And in some cases, the manager hear that, they taking that into consideration, because at the end of the day, this is a business and they want the best person to work on a project. If it's to the point where you're going through something at home, to the point where you're not doing your job correctly, and they're hearing that from other people, oh, some of them might sit you down and try to get to the bottom of it, see what's going on, see if there's anything they can do to help. But at this point, they've already heard through the grapevine that you're going through stuff. And at this point, I'm sure you're sitting there like, what the hell? Like, how do you know this? You weren't even in the room when I was talking. You're probably feeling a way about it because people know your business. People have clocked your teeth about what's going on at home. And now you know that there's people within the office or whatever that's really listening to you. And that's trying to, I don't want to say sabotage, but through your issues or whatever's going on at home, they're trying to make a come up off of that and get into your position sometimes. And sometimes it do work. Like sometimes the managers, if it's too much chatter from the other coworkers, they'll pull you off of a project, or sometimes they'll even fire you if they feel like you just have too much drama for the position. And now your livelihood at work is affected. Just because you thought you had some friends at work. I think at the end of the day, I think we all need to be cognizant and live in reality that you are working at corporations, you are working at businesses where the first thing they care about is your money. Everybody is there for money. Ain't nobody there for fun or to be friends. They are there for coins. So realize that. Sometimes you come to a job as a new hire and you realize that there's people there who want you to talk and want to get in your business for the sole purpose of sabotaging you. Because if you're a new person, you're taking money out of the pot sometimes in some way. So I'm just putting y'all on tea. I know we got workplace friends or whatever. I just want y'all to be smart. Sometimes, unfortunately, some of us are in office environments where office politics are running rampant, and that makes it uncomfortable to be in the office. Sometimes they even make you feel like, even if you are not someone who overshares at work and you just do your job, you clock in and out. We are coworkers. We working together. That's it. Some people don't like that they don't know about you, and then they will make the environment hostile for you just based off of the fact that you're not trying to kiss ass and be in the crew, be in the clique. And that can make a hostile work environment too. If you're dealing with all of that in 2024, I just want to tell you that as we are entering our new year in 2025, don't do that. You don't have to be involved in that. Now, as always, when I talk about jobs, I want to say that this is easier said than done. Some of us are in a job market or a sector or whatever to where jumping from job to job or just finding another job like that is not easy. I could tell y'all to just, quit, just quit. But again, I can't pay your bills. Can't nobody else pay your bills. Who else gonna pay? I know other YouTubers will be like, oh, just quit, girl. And then what? Then what? Where can I live with you? I know how that goes. But if you are dealing with these points that we just talked about and you have noticed these signs in your job, I think it's a good opportunity right now to make an escape plan. Make an escape plan, build up your resume, and go to another job. And if you are interested in working for yourself, if you do have some type of skill, I think now is also a great opportunity to start honing in your skill and making money off of that. But more than anything, if you notice these signs, I'm not telling you to just quit right away and walk away, even though I know you be wanting to feel like that. But I am telling you that right now, make your plan. Make your 3-month plan, build it up to a 6-month plan. Then if you need to, build it up to a 1-year plan. So you notice all of these signs, you don't like it, you want to leave. Your coworkers ain't shit, being micromanaged, you can't work, they taking work from you. You kind of notice that the writing is on the wall in some type of way. I would make a plan of where you want to be in the next few months. Jobs that you're looking at, industries that you want to be in, even go to certain workshops, just get your face out there, make a business card, hell. But I'm going to talk about that in another video, I think, because this one is already too long. All right, so we just talked about some signs that you need to leave your job in 2024 and get a new one in 2025. And if you identify with any of these, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, now that you identified that you need to leave, now we need to work on our escape plan. What we going to do? How we going to get up out of here? But more than anything, I also just want you guys to know that you are not crazy and that I sympathize with you so much, and that I want you to know that it will get better. We spend most of our time at work. Some of us spend more time at work than we do at home, hell, than with ourselves. So if you are going through these things, it's not a good feeling, because you are literally at this place all damn day. Not only do I sympathize with you, but I hear you, and that you are not alone in feeling like this, because I have felt like this before too. So if you are dealing with these signs at work, just know that it's time to go. It might not be time to go right now, but it's time to go. In the upcoming videos, I will share with you how we can do that. So that's it for me today. I've been talking for like an hour and a half doing all these videos. I'm about to eat something. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.